Very good morning, children. Now, today we are going to start a new chapter, Chapter 9 Metals and Non-Metals. In this chapter, we will discuss what are metal, non-metal, and metalloids, and how they are being extracted from their ores, and what are the uses of metal, non-metal, and metalloids. So, children, here is the picture you can see that is of metalloids, some of the non-metal, and some metals. Children, metalloids are the elements that have characteristics of both the metal and that of non-metal, and they mostly act as a semiconducting elements. Some examples of metalloids are boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony. Whereas metal have thousands of uses in our day-to-day life, and often they are mixed or combined with other metal or the substances in order to form alloys. And almost any machine or the devices has at least one metal in it, and the most widely used metal is your iron, but not in its pure state, but it is used in the combined state with small amount of non-metal carbon to form the group of alloys that is known as steel. Children, making alloys are extremely important in industries, and often alloys of a metal are hardened and stronger than that of pure metal itself. So, the science of metal is called metallurgy, and although the majority of the elements in the periodic table are your metal, and many of them are non metal that are abundant in nature. Children, the non-metal oxygen and nitrogen make up 99% of the Earth's atmosphere, and carbon and other non-metal is found in more compounds than all other elements in the combined form. So, most of the non-metal do not conduct electricity and much poorer conductor of heat than that of metal, and are brittle in nature when they are in solid state. So, now we are going to discuss the metals through their history. Here, uh, we are having two alloys. One is your bronze, and second is your brass. So, this bronze is the earliest alloy. That is the mixture of copper and tin, and it has been known for the thousands of years and was first widely used substance for the tools after the rocks and stones. Whereas your second alloy is brass, that is a mixture of copper and zinc. Children, as you all know, the most famous metal is gold. That has been valued since ancient time because it have shiny nature, or it remains bright because of it inertness. That means it do not react with atmosphere. Now we are going to discuss what are metals. Children, most of the metal do not exist in their native state or in their free state. They usually found in rocks in the combined form. And only the unreactive metal are found in the free state. So, metal can be extracted from all the minerals and the rock that contain the metal or the metal compounds, from which it can be easily extracted, or from which it is possible to extract the metal, that are called ores. So, here are some ores that we will study. Okay, your first type of ore is oxide ore, and the ore names are zincite, hematite, and magnetite. So, zincite, the formula for zincite is ZnO, and the metal that is extracted from zincite is zinc. Whereas hematite, the chemical formula for hematite is Fe2O3, and the metal that is extracted from it is iron. Third one is your magnetite, whose chemical formula is Fe3O4, and the metal extracted is your iron. Now, children, the next one is your hydrated oxide. Hydrated oxide, that means in this, in the chemical formula also, there will be some amount of water molecules. So the example of hydrated oxide is your bauxite, that is Al2O3.2H2O, and from this aluminium is extracted. Now the third one is carbonate ores. It is another type of ore. For example, calamine or limestone. Calamine, that means ZnCO3, and from which zinc is extracted. Whereas limestone, that means CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate, and from this calcium is extracted. So, your next one is sulfide ore, in which the metal are present in their sulfide form. So, for example, zinc blende, iron pyrite, galena, or cinnabar. So, from zinc blende, the formula for zinc blende is ZnS, and the metal extracted is your zinc. And iron pyrite is FeS2, and the metal extracted from it is your iron. Third is your galena, whose chemical formula is PbS, and the metal extracted is your lead. Fourth one is cinnabar, and the chemical formula of this is HgS, and metal extracted is your mercury. Now we are going to discuss the fifth type of ore is your sulfate ore, in which the metal are present in their sulfate form, like your gypsum or Epsom salt. Gypsum is calcium sulfate dot 2H2O, that is CaSO4 dot 2H2O, whereas Epsom salt is MgSO4 dot 7H2O. So from gypsum, calcium is extracted, whereas from Epsom, magnesium is extracted. Now, the fifth type of ore is your chloride or fluoride. That means in this, metal exists in their halide forms, and common salt and fluorspar, like NaCl and CaF2, from which sodium and calcium are being extracted. Now, children, we are going to discuss the terms that are related to element. First is your luxure. It is a property that reflect, or you can say it is a property of element to reflect light, and hence they will have a shiny appearance. Okay, that means if element is having a shiny appearance, then you will say that it is luxure. Like for example, if we take, that is, steel plate shines when it is exposed to some light or sunlight. Next property is your malleability. Children, it is a property of metal to be beaten into thin sheet, whereas ductility is the property by which metals can be drawn into the wires. Remember this, malleability is for the thin sheet, whereas ductility is for the wires. Now, children, as you must have seen the aluminium foil in which the food is wrapped. Okay, so this shows the malleability of aluminium. Whereas you must have seen the copper wire that is used at your home, that shows the ductility of copper. Now, the next one is electrical conductivity. Children, electrical conductivity means the quantity of the electricity that is transmitted by a unit area in unit time under a unit potential difference. That means, if suppose this is your conductor, and these are the two ends of the conductor, and there is some potential difference. Okay, so when the potential difference is unit, and then the electricity that is transmitted by unit area in unit time defines your electrical conductivity, and that is why metal are the good conductor of electricity, whereas the non-metal are the bad conductor of electricity. Next is your tensile strength. Children, tensile strength is a property by which metal can resist the pulling action, and it also depicts the strength of the metal. Next is your hardness. Children, the property by which metal can resist cutting, scratching, or grinding defines the hardness of that particular element. Next is your sonority. Children, sonority is the property of metal to emit a deep resonant sound when they are struck. Okay. For example, if you see, sound is produced when steel bowl is struck with a spoon. Okay, that means when they are being bitten, they produce sound. Now, the next property is your brittle nature. That means the property by which a substance can be easily uh, broken down or can be converted into powdered form. Example, if you talk about, is glass. Next property is your electropositive character. It is a property by which element loses electron easily by forming positive ion. Likewise, here we have taken an example of sodium. Sodium is having 7 electron in one atom, right? In which there is one electron in its outermost shell, and on losing this one electron, it will acquire a positive charge over this atom. Okay, or it will acquire positive charge, because as there is a loss of only one electron, so it will acquire only one positive charge over it. Next is your electronegativity, is a property by which element gains electron easily by forming negative ion, or they acquire negative charge over them. Here, this is your chlorine atom, that is having 17 electron in a single atom, and there are 7 electrons in the outermost shell. So on gaining one more electron, it will acquire minus charge over it, okay, and it will attain the stable electronic configuration. Now we are going to discuss the physical properties of metal and non-metal. We are going to compare the physical activities of metal and non-metal. Children, first is your physical state. As metal generally are solid in nature because of their high melting point, whereas non-metal exist in all the three states. But there are two metals that exist as a liquid state, in liquid state at room temperature, like mercury and gallium. And the example for non-metal, like in gaseous state, hydrogen, chlorine. In liquid state, it is bromine. So this question can be asked: name the non-metal that exists in liquid state at room temperature. That will be a bromine. Third one is your iodine, sulfur, carbon. Now the next is your malleability property. Okay, children, metals are generally malleable in nature. That means uh, they have property to be bitten into the thin sheet. Example: gold, silver. Whereas non-metal um, uh, uh, are generally brittle in nature. That means they can be easily broken or can be converted into powdered form. Example: crystal of iodine. Now the third property is ductility. Children, metal are ductile in nature. That means they can be drawn into thin wire. Example: silver, gold, copper. Whereas non-metal are non-ductile or not ductile, they break on stretching. Okay. Like example, if you talk about, that is your carbon. Next is your thermal conductivity. Children, metals are the good conductor of heat, and in which silver is the best conductor of heat and lead is the poorest conductor of heat. Whereas non-metal are the bad conductor of heat. Example, like phosphorus. Next is your electrical conductivity. Children, metals are the good conductor of electricity. Example, if we talk about, like silver, whereas non-metal are the bad conductor of electricity except that of graphite and gas carbon. Now the next one is Lakshya. Metal possess luster, they have shiny appearance, whereas non-metal have dull appearance or they lack luster. But there is some exception like iodine and graphite. They have shiny appearance, but uh, though they are non-metal, they have shiny appearance also. Now the next property is hardness. Children, metals are hard in nature except that of potassium, calcium, and sodium. These three metals are soft in nature, and non-metal are generally soft except that of diamond. Now we are going to discuss about the tensile strength. Children, metal have high tensile strength, whereas non-metal have low tensile strength. Next is your sonority. Sonority, as we have discussed, is a property of metal to produce sound when they are being struck. Okay, so metals are sonorous, whereas non-metal are non-sonorous. Children, sonority means you can say as we have discussed that metals emit a deep resonant sound when they strike. Example, if we take about like if you are struck, if when a sound produced by steel bowl when it is struck by with a spoon. Now we are going to discuss melting and boiling point. Metal have high melting and boiling point, in which tungsten has highest melting point, whereas non-metal have low melting and boiling point. Now we are going to discuss the chemical properties of metal and non-metal, and we are going to compare that. First is your ions. Children, as metal have tendency to lose electron, so they form positive ion, whereas non-metal have tendency to gain electron, so these form negative ion. Now what is now let us compare their electronic configuration. Metal have 1, 2 or 3 valence electron, whereas non-metal have 4 to 7 valence electron in their outermost shell. Now the next is the nature of the oxide. The metal oxide are basic in nature, whereas non-metal oxide are acidic in nature. But there is some exception in case of metal, like antimony oxide and chromic oxide are acidic in nature. But in general, as you know that metal oxide are basic in nature. And the fourth one we will discuss is reaction with hydrogen. Children, reactive metal combines with hydrogen in order to form ionic hydride, whereas non-metal combine with hydrogen by sharing electron and hence form covalent hydrides. Here, example, you can see that it forms CaH2. These all are the ionic hydrides. Ionic hydride means hydride that are formed by the complete transfer of electron. Whereas your second is NS3 H2 H2O H2S. Okay, this means that here they form the covalent hydrides. Okay, non-metal combined with hydrogen by sharing electron and hence they form covalent hydride. Next is your reaction with chlorine. Children, metal form ionic chloride, whereas non-metal forms covalent chloride. That means metal when react with chlorine, okay, they will form the compound by complete transfer of electron, whereas non-metal forms the chloride by the sharing of electron. Here you can see that in case of NaCl, sodium have tendency to lose one electron, whereas that of chlorine have tendency to gain one electron. Now the next is your reducing or oxidizing nature. As metal have tendency to lose electrons, so they are the good reducing agent, whereas non-metal have tendency to gain electron, so these are good oxidizing agent. So now children, the uses of metal we will discuss in the next video. For this now, thank you. Hope you all have understood.